Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. I can't post to AITA. Hear me, I need to know please. Full disclosure, they were on meth. And lost custody 4 times because we were sent to my grandma. They always just took us back if it was legal. I've drank since I was 8, 25 now, because to them it was a party trick to not take a chaser. When I was 12 I smoked a bowl with my mom and she said it wasn't right to dad, so me and my dad snorted a hydro right after because that's fair. I've stopped since on the pills after like 8 years when I had my daughter, but when she died I kinda didn't give any emotion. She stabbed me on 3 separate occasions and I still have the scars. They led me to getting my stomach pumped twice due to drinking, one at 10, the second at 14. On my 13th birthday she said she was gonna fight me and if I fought back my dad would join her. So I hid on the roof. Apparently that's a funny story. Everyone gets upset that I wasn't upset she died, due to drug overdose. BTW, she used to throw golf balls at me or shoot me with a C02 pistol if she couldn't find the belt. I've stopped the pills for the last 5 years and I can't understand why everyone is upset about me not caring. Even my 2 brothers willingly admit I raised them and nobody else. Dad worked union construction in other states so he was away a lot. At this point I've been told I have an eating disorder because of raising my brothers. I'm 5'10", 120 pounds. I loved her but I'm still kinda glad she's gone and everyone hates me for it, so I really need to know AITA. Story 2. Update: Stepmonster is gone and I think it's for good. Previous update. After being engaged for over 2 years, me and Jane finally got married last Saturday. We're still getting used to calling each other husband and wife, but we'll get there. Hopefully. The wedding was awesome. The kids had fun, our extended families finally met and we danced so much I could barely stand the next day. Luke took his ring bearer duties seriously, and held my son's hand as they walked down the aisle. Besides my aunt getting shit-faced and being led out on a wheelchair, which I already thought would happen anyway, everything went according to plan. It's been 4 months since we got the RO against SM. Things have been mostly quiet, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Except completely quiet, but we can't always get what we want. I never really worried about SM showing up at the wedding, especially after the RO. It's literally illegal for her to come close to us, and we made it very clear that if she tried, we'd call the cops right away. My friends still warned me to take safety measures, most of which I did. SM didn't show up, of course, but I'm a strong believer that any money spent on security is well spent, so no regrets on that end. My stepbrother and I wished each other happy birthdays, and he also texted Jane on hers back in June. That's the only contact we've had during these months. He knows that the door is still open if he wants to apologize. My dad has given up on trying to reach me. We haven't spoken since April. He's still trying to talk to my sister, for some reason, but she's ignoring him. A few days after she went NC with him, they had a huge fight over the phone about SM's treatment of us over the years. Insults were thrown, sore subjects were brought up and, most importantly, my father took SM's side on almost everything. My sister called me crying afterwards. I wanted to call him and yell at him, but she told me not to. She's doing okay now. She hasn't blocked him, but doesn't take his calls or answer his texts. She's only gotten 3, a weak apology, one on my birthday back in May, and a long rant after neither of us wished him a happy Father's Day. After all, despite our differences, he's still our father. He's not wrong. I love my father, and I always will, but I can't be around him anymore. While I've closed that door, I'm not locking it just yet. He knows what he needs to do if he wants his family back. I don't think he'll do it, but if there's the slightest chance he might, I'll consider opening the door an inch or 2. This is my wife's suggestion. I'm a lot less optimistic than she is, but maybe it's important to hold on to that hope. She hasn't forgiven him, though. Or SM. Jane has always been very protective of Luke, so it was no surprise that this disaster shook her. A part of me was scared she'd blame me, but she called me a dumbass when I told her that. I've been in therapy for a few months, and it's helped a lot more than I thought it would. I've realized SM's behavior around me growing up was a lot worse than I always thought, and it's great to finally be able to get my feelings off my chest. Right now, I'm more than happy. I just married the most amazing woman ever, and I have the family I always dreamed of. None of us are perfect, but I never thought life would be this great to me. I'll stick around. Reddit is a lot more than I expected, but I can sleep peacefully now, so it's safe to say this will be my last update on this. Thank you all for the kindness and advices you gave me these months. I could have never expected the support I got from you guys, and I can't begin to describe how helpful it was. Seriously, thank you all. Edit. Okay, I updated too soon. I didn't want to write another post, so I'll just add this here. My stepbrother called me earlier today. Apparently, he and SM had a fight and he wants to meet up. I agreed as long as it was just the two of us. We're meeting up for coffee on Wednesday. I have no idea what to expect, but even if he does apologize, I need to know he understands how and why he let us down. Edit 2, I rescheduled the meet-up. With me and Janewood leaving for our honeymoon on Friday, I decided that no matter the outcome of my conversation with SB, I didn't want to spend the whole trip thinking about it. He understood, and we're gonna talk when I'm back. Update. Story 3. My dad won't stop using my car. I'm currently living with my dad. I'm a 27F and recently have faced some financial hardship, so I've had to move in with my dad. I don't have any money to my name right now, but working on changing that. For reference, I've lived with him off and on for the past 4 years. Now back to the car. It's in my name, so there's that, and I paid for it. My dad treats my car like it's his. It's cheaper to run than his car, so he uses my car as his default to run errands when I'm not using it. He never replaces the fuel either. He always asks me to leave my keys with him so he can use it when he needs. I've tried questioning him about it, but he won't hear it and gets defensive. He's also gone over toll roads and not told me, resulting in me getting fines because the car is in my name. He also got a speeding ticket in it and I got a bill a few days later. He tells me I need to deal with it. My dad has limited funds, so can't pay for anything either. I'm sick of my dad using my car, but if I argue with him he tells me I'm being cheap or unreasonable, despite the fact that he would never allow me to do the same or use his car at all. He uses my fuel and never treats my car with respect. I'm thinking of parking my car down the road and taking the keys, but don't want to cause an argument. I don't know how to have boundaries with my dad while I'm forced to stay with him until my financial situation improves. I can't go anywhere else right now either. Any advice or tips? Story 4. So much emotional weight. He ignored my 10-year-old brother for 8 hours straight yesterday after my brother continually begged him for a sliver of attention. I didn't want him to do that to my brother again, so when he screamed at me for hours to go to the mall with him, I had to study for a test, but he didn't let me. I took my brother alone and we had a nice time together. On the drive home he yelled at me. I tried defending myself by just saying stuff along, "Can you just get off your phone and talk to your son? Not even me. Just talk to my brother. If you don't talk to him, then I will. Without you. So don't expect me to walk with you all day as you sit on your phone and solely talk to right-hand man, and ignore us and let us have a bad time." He did not like this. Screamed in front of brother and made me cry for an hour straight as he called me his daughter, a psychotic bitch like my mother, trying to poison my brother's innocence and relationship with him, a fucking asshole that can't mind my business, and more. Got home. Needed to be alone for the rest of the night to process my feelings and cram for test. He barged into my room minutes after getting home, when I was still highly emotional, to suddenly do every chore he could think of in my room. Got mad I was cursing him out after I clearly showed that I wanted to be alone and not see him. I know my limits in an argument and exactly when I feel so overwhelmed and exhausted that I can't talk anymore and need privacy to collect my thoughts. Unfortunately for me, he is an utter moron. Anyway, here he is, getting mad about me not wanting him in my room, while still lecturing me. Next, his right-hand man, my other relative who had also yelled at me all day, also came into my room. So tired and feeling highly invaded. Finally alone. About an hour after we got home, now, my father just tried sitting next to me in my bed so he could continue being defensive when I just want to be alone for fuck's sake. He got mad again and wouldn't leave me the fuck alone until I started repeating get out over and over until he left. I'm so fucking tired of my parents. Just don't want to be here anymore. Counting down the days till I'm in college. Few more years to go, can't go fast enough. Story 5. Update on my trying to destroy my life. Previous post, https://www.reddit.com/r/entitledparents/. Story 6. Mother is being selfish. My mom, who has been mentally abusive and a narcissist, as well as a drug addict, had been cut off. My reason for this is cause of my miscarriage I had was used as an excuse for her to not deal with a baby, and when I told the person with baby they could come over because I was moving. She got angry with me and told me she was going to use my miscarriage as a reason to not come. Not including any of the things she had done during the pregnancy. So when I became pregnant again now with my boy, I decided to keep it to myself and keep it from her because of what she had done. Well, she recently found out through another person and sent me a very sarcastic and rude message on Facebook, my old account, and then 2 days after an email talking all about her herself and using suicide as a way to, I guess, make me talk to her. And now won't give my old mail and items to my grandmother, saying I'll have to go there to her. But I'm a high-risk pregnancy and can't be under lots of stress, but I know for a fact she's going to attack me if I try to get my stuff. And it's been very frustrating and is adding fuel to the fire for her never being a part of my life. Has always been an asshole to me, and has forced me to be around my rapists, and the biggest issue she has with my pedo uncle who did things to me is the fact she didn't get what she wanted when my grandfather died. She got an entire house, car, and money and still claims is not enough, not the fact he preyed on both her children. And that's just the beginning and a tiny bit of everything she has, everything she's done or put my sister and I through. Most of my family can't understand why I don't want her around, and it's just irritating. And I just needed a moment to rant. Story 7. I'm just so tired of pretending to be someone else. TW, plus mental health struggles, homophobia, self-harm, suicide. Let me preface this by saying that I currently deal with depression, anxiety, and what presents itself as undiagnosed ADHD. I also am struggling with my identity right now. I was born biologically female, but do not feel like that label fits me all the way anymore. Additionally, I'm almost certain that I'm bi, as I've been interested in both males and females in the past. This would all be fine if I didn't live in an extremely out-of-date religious household. Mental health is simply not something that is looked after or cared about here, and anything outside of their tiny box of acceptable identities, namely straight, cisgendered, like-minded religious people, are frowned upon and shunned. I personally don't care what people do or whom they give their love to, as long as it's all safe, legal, and consensual. And they hate that about me. In terms of what little pieces of me that I'm okay showing off, that's barely scratching the surface of it. Almost on a daily basis, I have to hear them talking about how a couple that they saw in public disgusted them, how a transgender individual is confused and needs to go to church, or how they would outright refuse to call a non-binary person by their preferred pronouns because it's not what God intended. I get to internalize the frustration of them saying that ADHD isn't a real condition, and that if people, as children or adults, can't focus or act their age, that it's entirely their own fault. I get to hear them say cheer up. Or just calm down. Whenever I'm having a depressive episode or am on the verge of a panic attack because I was just yelled at or confronted by a nasty customer at work. I am told at the ripe age of 14 or 15 that a close friend that just recently lost their battle with depression is going to hell for their sin, and that I will join them if the marks on my arms are anything more than claw marks from our pets. When I end up giving away 2 of my dogs to someone else because I am not mentally well enough to give them the attention that they need and deserve, they accuse me of simply being lazy and immature. I've become a very good pretender over the years. I humor them when they talk badly about mental health or the LGBT community, even if it hurts. I blame every change in mood or mannerisms on simply being tired because the truth wouldn't go over well. If my actions are too big to be blamed on fatigue, I make up a reason to be upset, a plant of mine dying, being charged twice for a bill, an argument with a friend that doesn't exist. I still allow them to use my birth name, and have begrudgingly agreed to wear a dress for the first time in years at an upcoming wedding, even though I would be way more comfortable in a suit and tie. And above all of that, I still pretend to be just as religious as them, even though I couldn't care any less about religion or whatever was written in a book from eons ago. I'm just so tired of pretending, though. When I'm at work, or when I attended classes in person, I felt so free and light, as I didn't have to lie to co-workers or classmates. They all seemed to accept me, no matter who or what I appeared to be. But when I'm with family, I feel constantly overwhelmed, as if the lies that I've been telling for years are all threatening to tangle themselves together, contradict each other, or cause a chain reaction that brings the web that I've been carefully weaving for years swiftly crashing down. I feel all headachy, and end up telling lies where I don't really have to because I'm losing track of what parts are meant to stay hidden, and what parts that I'm safe to show off. It's difficult remembering what lies I've told to what people, and how I have to switch up my entire persona around each of them, even down to my speech, mannerisms, and body language, if possible. I'm not sure how those toxic friends or secret villains that we see in TV shows or books do this for so long. It's all so confusing, and it occupies way too much of my already anxiety-filled brain. At this rate, even if I did move out to get free of this environmental, I wouldn't know how to continue to connect with my family. I don't think that I want to go no contact, at least, not unless something truly terrible happens, but it's already so difficult to speak to them. I can just imagine how difficult it would be to come back during family reunions with a different body shape, possibly going by a different name, different mannerisms because I'm finally on enough psychiatric medications to keep me stable without alcohol, and a partner at my side who may or may not be male. It would be as though I'm a totally different person to them, and in a way, I kind of am. I'm sorry if this was kind of long and rambling. This is, unfortunately, the kind of stuff that I think about late at night, when I really should be sleeping. I leave the real me locked in this bedroom every day, or I banish her to my department at work, as she isn't really safe here. But maintaining the safe version of me, a straight, cisgendered, mentally sound religious woman, is so exhausting. Even though I hate being outside most of the time, I actually enjoy going to work sometimes for this very reason. I can be myself more with strangers and co-workers who barely know my last name than with the family that I've known for over 2 decades. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.